How's it going, everybody? It's Pilot Flame, and we are back with another FPL stream. We are going to be looking at how we did in Game Week 11. We're going to be looking at how we're going to be doing, hopefully, in Game Week 12. We're also going to be looking at the title. Can you see that? Let's see. Lean back a little bit. There we go. That man, that side, that one. He's the one punishing me. As well as the Spurs boys as well. Looking like it was going to be like a 1 million green arrows. The week was looking fantastic. And then Vardy scored. I said, okay, that's not the end of the world. Then Son scored with Kane assist. I'm like, okay, that's kind of bad. But, you know, as long as it doesn't get any further than that. Then they did the reverse. So then they were both on max bonus. I'm like, okay, well, that's pretty bad. And then Salah goes and gets a goal and assist as well. So a lot of the big boys punished people, but again, if you didn't, this game week was a very bad week to have a bad game week. Like, very, very bad. Like, because it was so many points. I think the average was like 63 or something like that, which is just absolutely insane. So, and I think that top 10K average was like 68 or 69, which is ridiculously high. I mean, if you think about the players that did well, so if you look at like the top teams, so Man City, De Bruyne and Sterling, both goal assist. Fernandes even got 6 points for United. Rashford scored, who's you know, not as highly owned, but still did quite well. Bamford, highly owned, scored. Calvert-Lewin, highly owned, scored. Kane and Son both scored. Who else am I missing? Jamie Vardy scored. Salah scored. Like, the only like highly owned players that I know of that didn't score was Grealish, because obviously he didn't play. Even Timo Werner chipped in with an assist, but not a super big hole. But pretty much all, Jota's probably the only one where a lot of people were like bandwagoning on him, and then he didn't get anything. So yeah, it is what it is. It is unfortunate, but we did end with a green arrow. Some people did not, so we will see how that's all gonna go. But before we do that, make sure you guys follow us on the stream here, Pilot Flame 226. Follow us on Twitter as well, and make sure to follow us over on or subscribe over on YouTube if you haven't done so already. I'm actually just gonna post out. Forgot to do this before we went live. Create a post. Let me just do this and that with a little image. And put the title, reposition, boop, boop, boop. Fantastic, lovely. Good stuff. Now we can swap back over, so let's see how we did in Game Week 11. So, that should be our team up on the screen. We got 75 points, 71 with the -4. And I'm just going to refresh to see if they've done the substitutions. They have not done that yet. So, Burke will come in for Grealish, because Grealish didn't play. So currently I'm on 73, but that'll take us up to 75. So yeah. Also, I think Twitch chat is broken tonight, maybe. If you guys are in the stream, let me know. If it is or isn't. I'm going to bring open a pop-up chat as well, just in case. Just to see if it does, if it stays up. But not sure if the if Twitch is like bugging around or if it's my internet or what. But like I've had some weird stuff with my internet. But the stream quality is fine, which is good. So hopefully it stays that way. But apart from that, let's continue on here. So, team, 75 points total, -4 is 71. So we're 2 points above the average in the top 10K, which means we went up like 110, 120K places, which is pretty good. It's pretty good because that means more green arrows in a row. So if we go to our game week history, our last 3 game weeks, 9, 10, and 11, we've gone up several 100K places, and we're slowly chipping away and getting back to where we almost were in game week 4 after the 3 green arrows off the start. So we want to get back there and see if we can, you know, make make that right again and get into the top million, and then slowly make our way into the top 100k, and then eventually the top 10k is the overall goal. So who got the points for our team? Well, our back line didn't do too hot. Unfortunately, McCarthy could have had a chance to save a penalty. Didn't work out that way, but can't expect, you know, McCarthy to be an absolute legend every week. I mean, last week he only got us 2 points as well, but he was against United, so it was kind of expected. But the 4 game weeks before that, 7, 6, 3, 6, pretty good. And then even the 3 game weeks before that, a 6 and a 9 in there as well. So again, he's been doing quite well for us overall. In terms of our other defenders, though, Lamptey obviously only getting 1 point, conceding 2. Could have potentially had some chances if Brighton played a little bit better. The second half, they were a lot more, more disappointing. First half, they looked quite lively. Lamptey was going forward. He had, I think it was Gineppo on a yellow card, like super early. He was able to just go up and down his side pretty much freely. And unfortunate to come away with points yet again. At some point, he's going to get a double-digit haul, and I just have to hope that he's in my team when he does do that. Chilwell getting only 2 points. Reece James was the one to get the assist this week. But he has a pretty good fixture versus Everton away because they're bad defensively. If you didn't see the table that we put out on my deadline stream, make sure to go watch that. There's a table that we put out towards the end of it. That's from Fantasy Football Scout, which basically shows that Everton's defense is terrible. So I expect him to definitely do good things. Tellez didn't keep a clean sheet, but he got an assist for United's second goal, so pretty happy with that. He's got 6 and 5 in the 3 weeks that I've had him. So doing good for himself there, averaging 4 points. Grealish obviously didn't play, but Burke will come in and get us 2 points. Again, a frustrating player, Burke. I mean, he's gone down in price twice since I've had him, but he could be so much better than what he is. He's just lacking that bit of quality. De Bruyne captain, worked out, getting max bonus points, and we're going to keep him for the foreseeable future. He's already gone up in price since we've had him, which is nice. Sterling, hanging on to Sterling was so good. Unfortunately, he's not going to be staying in my team past this week, as you will see. But against United, I don't think he has a very good record versus them anyway. Bruno on the bench, so a lot of people who captain Bruno are probably worrying quite a lot. But again, returns away from home. Yes, it was only an assist, but he could have had about like 3 assists, to be honest. He had one where he put Rashford in one-on-one, who he missed. He had played a key pass in the 2 other goals as well. He was the one who passed it to Tellez, who crossed it for the Greenwood goal. He was the one who passed it to Mata, who played it into Rashford. So that's why his bonus points were so high after just coming on and only getting an assist, because he's just that good sometimes. And I think he created like 8 chances or something stupid in the game. But yeah, he looks to be a season keeper potentially. Him, Salah, De Bruyne could be like the holy trinity, as it were. Calvert-Lewin again getting another goal for himself. Just keeps ticking along. He's only blanked in 2 game weeks thus far. Mind you, he hasn't. The only team he's played that has been tough would be it'd be Man United, it'd be Liverpool and Spurs. He has scored or returned in all 3 of those games, but not like the major returns like he would do against West Brom and those sorts of teams. So we want to see more from Calvert-Lewin, but again, tougher fixtures, Leicester and Chelsea potentially. Sheffield United could be one to potentially bring him back for if we were to get rid of him. But I'm potentially looking to go without in order to bring in a Southampton forward by the name of Danny Ings potentially this week, because he has Sheffield United. Then he has Arsenal, who are just terrible. City are definitely susceptible at the back, and Fulham. Whereas Calvert-Lewin in that time has Chelsea, Leicester, Arsenal, although Arsenal might maybe shaped up a bit by then. And again, we don't know what Everton team's shape is going to be in, because they basically have a first 11, and then after that it's just nothing. They have no real impact subs. Iwobi playing is just like, he was terrible. Couldn't cross the ball at all. Calvert-Lewin gets 1 decent cross in from Richarlison from the left-hand side and scores. Like, if Digne actually was playing and fit, which he isn't, Calvert-Lewin would be doing a lot more, which is why I think I'm more likely to get rid of him now, cash in on him. If he burns me during the Southampton game, I just have, or the Sheffield United game, so be it. But I also have Ings going versus Fulham as well, so could be, you know, kind of a match there. Bamford again, you know, scoring away from home. Was in our captaincy video, and I don't believe he's blanked away from. He's only blanked once, and that was against Everton. Although his team did win, so and he could have potentially scored in that as well. But yeah, hasn't blanked apart from that one Everton game, which is good. So we're definitely keeping Bamford. Like I said, Burke will come in for Grealish. Not sure if it has done it as of yet. Nope, still hasn't. Ayling just the 1 point. Kilman didn't play. For some reason, Nuno thought it was a good idea to go with a back four against what would be a pretty good attacking Liverpool team. Just didn't really make sense, to be honest. I'm not really sure what he was doing, but yeah, it just didn't make sense why he would go and decide, you know what, let's just play a back four. I don't understand. Like, back three has been what you've been good at defensively all this time. And now you're trying to experiment to get more attacking, but you're getting more attacking against a team that would want you to get more attacking. So it's just a bit weird overall. But nonetheless, oh, it looks like Twitch chat is working now, and this gives me the chance to show off the emotes and the badges which I've put in as well. So make sure to check those out if you want to support the channel. It is not required, but you can definitely you know, get involved with that. I'm not sure if my Twitch chat thing is bugged here. I'm just going to try to do it one more time to see if I can. No, the link just must be broken. So I'll have to mess with that, because usually there's the chat just above me, but that's broken for the time being. But I will see you guys stuff in the what's name. Maybe Twitch is having problems, maybe my internet's having problems, maybe it's a combination of both, who knows. But we pressed on. So that was it for the team. So a little bit of a green arrow, which is good. So let's take a look at how we did for our predictions. Now obviously we're going to have a couple of predictions and differentials which didn't play this week. Bit unfortunate, but we will continue on. So this was our Gameweek predictions. We were actually like 1 goal off pretty much like every game for the most part, up until Liverpool Wolves basically. But I did get the Southampton Brighton score right, which was nice. So yeah, Aston Villa and Newcastle didn't play, so that's a big 0 for us there, which is unfortunate. Everton and Burnley, I predicted 2-1 and ended up 1-1, so we don't get any points there. Oh, also, if you're not familiar with how the point system works, you can do this from week to week. Basically, if you get the exact score right, like how I did for Brighton versus Southampton, you get 3 points. If you guess the result right, so if I predicted City to beat Fulham and they did win, but just not by the same scoreline, then you get 1 point. If you guessed like a win and it was a draw or a loss, then it's 0 points. So in City's case, we get 1 point here. United was winning. That's a pretty bad one, but whatever. United was winning 2-1 versus West Ham, and then Rashford ended up finishing it off. Technically, could have been like 4-1. Mind you, the first goal with United, they don't really have a system in place to check if the ball goes out of play, even though it looks pretty clear that it went out of play, but it is what it is. United got the win, so I get 1 point. Chelsea 3-1 over Leeds. I predicted 2-1, so again 1 point. Crystal Palace won, but by a very large scoreline due to the red card that West Brom suffered. Ended up scoring 5. So we still got 1 point there. Leicester 2-0 over Sheffield United, ended up being 2-1, so again, another point. Spurs beating Arsenal, another point. Wolves losing to Liverpool, again, another point. And Southampton versus Brighton. I think that's our first exact score right in like 5, 6, 7 game weeks. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of the 10 games right, and one of them wasn't played. So we got 8 out of 9 right, which means we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we got 10 points, which is really, really good, because the last few weeks we weren't doing well at all. So we're gonna hope to look to maintain that going forward. In terms of our differentials and clean sheets, Man City kept a clean sheet. Darlow didn't play, so not really much going on there. Diaz got himself a clean sheet. Zaha scored a brace, and Antonio didn't play. So basically the differentials that we picked, we got right. So not too bad overall there. Pretty good game week for our differentials and picks there. In terms of what we are looking for um, for what we would like to see out of the games this weekend. We definitely got it, personally. The North London Derby was exactly how I expected it to go. Spurs were going to sit in. If Arsenal played into that trap, which is what Chelsea didn't do, then they were going to get punished. And that's exactly what happened. Son punished on the break, and Kane punished on the break as well. And it was a bit unfortunate for the second goal because of the fact that Thomas Partey was injured. But he could have gone down and maybe they put the ball out of play. Highly unlikely, but it is still possible. And we're going to go into that on the Tactics Talk on Friday this week. That's going to be after the deadline. So it's going to be Tactics Talk on Friday and then one on Sunday, assuming I can do them and record them that way. It's just been so busy trying to get ready for my day off tomorrow and to do some things for 14. It's a game that I play. So with new content coming out, and hasn't been out since 10 months ago. But let's get back to FPL, back on track here. Chelsea Leeds was a very entertaining game for those that watched it. United, again, it just seems like any time a team scores against them, they just flick a switch and then it's just game over and they just go on and win. City quietly creeping up the table. Everton continuing to struggle. West Brom looking like they're already relegated. Same as Sheffield United. Just poor mistakes on both their parts. Liverpool, again, punishing Wolves, thinking that they could get away with playing a back four. Not sure what the thinking was there. And Danny Ings makes his return to the Southampton side. So, for the fixtures that we have now. Just going to turn the music down just a touch here. So these are the fixtures for the current game week. I'm interested to see what will happen if this fixture here, the Newcastle one, gets postponed, because I think the facilities are still closed as we speak. So they may postpone this Newcastle versus West Brom game. So wait until further news for that. What they might end up doing, they can't move any of these two games, the Arsenal, Burnley, the Leicester, Brighton, because they both play on Thursday. Liverpool plays Wednesday, so they have to probably play Sunday. Just trying to think of a game that they could move to in that spot. Probably Southampton, Sheffield United, maybe, or Crystal Palace. No, because Spurs play. Yeah, the only game they can move would be the Southampton game. Into that slot if they want to keep it. I mean, they could also move the Leeds West Ham one into the slot too. I mean, I don't think they really matter too much. But we'll see. Anyway, Leeds versus West Ham. So, I think that if Mikel Antonio is out, West Ham are going to struggle. They showed that they basically were in cruise control versus United. But didn't take their chances like how Antonio would. And I think that it was just one of these things where Leeds, if they're more clinical, they can definitely punish a lot of teams. Bamford is a frustrating player, but he gets a lot of chances. And one of those games, he's going to score all of them, like he did in his hat trick earlier on in the season. So I think this is going to be a very interesting game. I think Leeds will end up edging this one. I think it's going to be 2-1, and it's just a matter of who can take the chances, which will swing it, basically. I think both of them are going to have a decent number of chances. Leeds defensively aren't that good in terms of like set pieces and stuff like that, and could potentially be caught on the break. But Leeds create a lot of chances down the other end as well, and are quite good from set pieces in their own right. So could be interesting. I think Leeds will win it 2-1. Wolves versus Aston Villa. I think if Wolves play exactly the same way they did versus Liverpool, they're going to get torn to shreds. And I think with Villa having a week off, I think that could potentially benefit them. I think that the Wolves will end up scoring, but I think Aston Villa could shred them to absolute bits if they go with a back four. I'm going to go with a 3-1 Aston Villa win. Newcastle versus West Brom. I think if these two play, I think it's going to be a 2-0. Probably a Callum Wilson goal somewhere in there. But I would say wait and see for this game because there's a likelihood that it probably isn't going to get played either. The Manchester Derby, Man United versus Man City. Now, I think there was, 3 games out of 4 last season, or 2 out of 3 or something like that, United beat City. Both league games, United beat City, and basically we just sat in, let City have the ball, and broke on the counter. Now with Pep's different system, where he's got, like, he'll probably go with Fernandinho and Rodri in front of the back 4. Maybe he goes with a back 3. United might go with a back 3, potentially, but it all depends on injuries. I think United have been doing quite good away from home, and have been good at home in Europe, but again, that's, you know, a bit hit or miss with United. It just depends on if City score the first goal, maybe it pisses United off and they end up coming back. I think if United get the first goal, it plays right into their hands. So I think in both cases, it probably warrants a very close affair. I think I'm going to sit on the fence with it. I'm going to go with a 1-1. It's very, very tough to call. Very, very tough to call. If City create a lot of chances, they can definitely threaten the United defense. If United can, you know, ward away those chances and can progress the ball super fast, and Rashford and Bruno are fully fit, we can definitely hurt them for sure. Jones comes in and says, yeah, see, the chat's not showing up on the stream, but I see your comment. So H Jones 117. I'll read the full names out if anyone speaks in the chat. Chelsea win 4-1. You know what? That might not be a bad shout. I'm going to go with a 3-1 win. I'm not going to go as big. I think Calvert-Lewin maybe gets a goal, or Everton finds something. But I think that Chelsea will definitely win this game. I just don't see Everton keeping the ball out of their own net. Like, as big as their centre-backs are, they're not very good, like, defensively on set pieces. They're very good offensively on set pieces. But apart from that, it's not ideal. So yeah, not sure if it's going to work in that way for them, but we will see. I also saw a bit of dropped frames, but hopefully that doesn't affect anything too much. Moving on. Southampton versus Sheffield United. I think this is only going to go one way. I think it's going to be a clean sheet for Southampton, who are going to look better now they have Danny Ings back. They have Nathan Redmond back. They basically have a fully fit squad, and Ward-Prowse is just putting in great deliveries. So, and Sheffield United is just not very good. So I think that Southampton win this game comfortably, which is why I'm looking to potentially get Ings in alongside Che Adams for this fixture specifically. Chelsea have such a good attack, they will score more than 2 goals a game. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're really good. And their defense has been looking good too. So, Jones makes a good point. What I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to try something really quickly. I'm going to move to the big camera. And then move back to see if the chat shows up on my screen. Oh, okay, there we go. Just got a little refresh. So now your chat messages should come up now. Fantastic. We're back in business. All right, where were we? Crystal Palace versus Spurs. I think the Palace will probably be a little bit more on the front foot, which will favor Spurs. And do I reckon that Chelsea are title contenders? 100%. You look at their squad. You run down the list. They have in goal, as long as Mendy stays fit, which I mean he's a goalkeeper, so he should be fine. They should be okay. At left back, they have Chilwell, who is somewhat injury prone, and I think that could be a concern area if he does get injured. But otherwise than that, I think they're probably serviceable with like Alonso or Emerson for like a few games at least. Center back, Thiago Silva, Zuma, Rudiger. They have a plethora of places there, but I think it depends on how well they use Thiago Silva, which they're doing quite well at the moment. And Zuma is just a super threat from set pieces. Right back, they have Reece James and Azpilicueta. Couldn't ask for more. Center defensive midfield, they have young Billy Gilmore. They have Kovacic, who plays in the midfield too. They have N'Golo Kante, who's in there. They have Jorginho, so they have some depth in that regard. Mason Mount is a utility midfielder. They have Kai Havertz, who's a utility midfielder. And then out wide, you have the likes of Pulisic, Werner, Ziyech, Callum Hudson-Odoi. And then up front, you have Giroud, Abraham. Werner can play there as well. You know, they have so much depth in their team. And they showed that they can definitely do that. I mean, they played basically a second-rate team versus Sevilla and slapped them 4-0. Like, Giroud scored the perfect hat trick and then added a penalty on top of it. So, yeah, I think they're definitely up there. I think they are up there. I think Spurs are up there. I think City is still up there. Because City can beat any... Like, if City play well, nobody beats them, pretty much. Apart from maybe Liverpool. Liverpool I still think is there because for some reason I have this worry in the back of my head that like in January Liverpool's gonna be like, and Van Dijk's back in training because he's a superhuman and is just incredibly fit. You know, these sorts of things can definitely happen. And I think that he's definitely one of those players. And Giroud is the most underrated player on the team. I think he's better than Tammy Abraham. Like, just play him there every game. Like, he won the World Cup with France without scoring a goal. But that shows you why, it shows you how important he is apart from scoring goals. Like, he's just that good. And I think if you have someone with that type of experience, allowing the likes of Pulisic and Werner to run in behind off of him when he has the type of hold-up play and control in that central position is just great to have. But, yeah. And then speaking of other title contenders, Spurs versus Palace. I think Spurs will end up winning this one. I don't think Palace will score. And I think they'll pretty much do the same thing that they did to Arsenal. I think they'll win 2-0, which is why I'm scared again to not own Spurs assets, because of that could easily be Son and Kane. Fulham versus Liverpool. This could be a straight demolition. Liverpool are going to score, and Fulham aren't, and Liverpool are going to score a lot. I think they'll score 3 and keep a clean sheet. So if you have a Liverpool defender, I think you should be okay this week. And Pulisic as a sub in the 60-minute would be dangerous. Yeah, I mean, now with Ziyech out, he may play out on the right, maybe. Because he did that for Dortmund. So he could definitely do that as well. Which is what that's basically what they did when Ziyech came off injured. They just kept Werner as is, and they basically just did a like-for-like swap. They could put Callum Hudson-Odoi out there too. You could put Havertz out there too. You could put Mount out there, even though he's better, more, centrally. But, yeah, they have a lot of different options. And because they have such versatile players, like Mount can play 3-4 positions if he wants to. Pulisic can play anywhere across the front line. Havertz can play anywhere across the front line, plus a number 10, plus the number 8. Werner can play pretty much anywhere across the front line. You can create so many different formations. Hey man, hope all is well. It is going well, Mono. How are you doing? How did your team do? We're just going through the end of predictions here for next week. Arsenal versus Burnley. I'm gonna go Burnley wins 1-0. And we'll see my differential pick in a second is a Burnley player. So 66 points. I mean, that's probably okay. Did you get a green arrow at least? If you got around that, it's close to being a green arrow. Yeah, it was looking decent till Spurs. Yeah, that's literally how, I was looking to go up like a million places, literally. And then Spurs and Liverpool just went, yep, 900k of that is gone. And Leicester versus Brighton. I think Leicester are probably going to be better because they have Pereira back. And I think that Brighton just don't seem to score more than 1. I think they will score. But Leicester will probably end up winning 2-1. Not really much else to say there. Got in KDB as my captain, but then everyone else got major points. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, everyone, basically, the score line this week was brace assist. Basically, or a goal assist, rather. Brace assist would have been better. But yeah, keeping Sterling also, if you had Sterling, I can't remember if you did or not, but clean sheet this week, going with Spurs. I think Crystal Palace are probably going to be in for a rude awakening. Spurs' defense has been looking quite good. In goal, I'm going to go with Darlow because I wanted to go with him last week, but Newcastle, or a couple weeks ago, whatever, Newcastle didn't play. So I'm going with Darlow this week because I think he's very underrated as goalkeeper. I think he's faced the most shots total, and I think that he's made like the most saves or something this year. So look, could be good. Still think Son and Kane out was the right call at the time. I think so too, based on fixtures. But they're just in such freakishly good form. Can it last the whole season? And Kane hasn't gone like the last few seasons without getting injured. So, and last season they were both injured for a significant period of time. So we'll see. They're playing a lot of football, but the one benefit for them is that this is probably like the perfect season for them to, if they were going to win the league, would be this season, because they're in Europa League where literally Mourinho can just not play them because they're playing against teams that are just crap. So they can play the likes of Vinicius, Bale, Lamella, these sorts of players, and then Son and Kane just sit on the bench and watch their team just spank the other team, like, you know. And it just makes sense. Whereas if they're in Champions League, they'd be like United, like Chelsea. They'd have to, you know, like City, where they have to, you know, like United's going into this week where they're in a pretty much must-win game. Like they're going in, they have to think that they're going to win because Leipzig's going to do that, and then United has to play City immediately after that. So I might get Vardy out for Bamford in 2 weeks, but to get Salah in now, I'd have to get rid of Bruno KDB. What do you think? I personally think it wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world to get rid of Vardy to make room for Salah for a hit this week, personally. Because it is Fulham, and Fulham are not great. And I think Liverpool will score more than what City did versus Fulham, I think. I think City could have scored more. They just looked like they wanted to just control the game and keep the clean sheet, personally. Whereas Liverpool couldn't care less. They're just going to score and score and score and score. And they're slowly getting their players back, which is why my next differential pick, I think he's like 13% on at the moment, is Trent Alexander-Arnold. We forgot about him. And for those that have Sadio Mane, you're going to rejoice that he's back in the team, because, I mean, Mane should have probably done better and scored for Liverpool's 4th goal versus Wolves. And it came from a Trent cross, because Trent likes to cross to the back post. And who's usually at the back post? It's Sadio Mane. So, could be a very good pick there. Ward-Prowse I've gone with this week. I think just set pieces, Sheffield United are very weak on. And I think that Ward-Prowse is, I mean, he got another assist again today. So, could be quite good. I think he's like 6 million, 6-1, something like that. And then for a forward line, I've gone with Chris Wood. I think he's going to threaten Arsenal's defense. And on set pieces, Chris Wood could just bully them and score a goal. And I think that's where the one goal is going to come from. So, yeah, that's my picks and differentials for the week. But getting back to your question there, Mono. I mean, if you have enough money, I would potentially do the Bamford move now. Like, because Vardy has what? He has Brighton, and then he has Everton. But he hasn't like gotten like the big holes. Like the Sheffield United, the Fulham, those were the ones that you wanted him to burn him on. Yeah, could do Bamford and do the super midfield. I mean, that's basically what I've gone with. So this is my team currently now. You'll notice that we have a certain Egyptian in our team now. So we got rid of Sterling and we brought in Salah because he's going to be our captain for this week, and there's no questions about that. In terms of what else we could potentially do, I was thinking of potentially getting rid of Calvert-Lewin and bringing in Ings for the next 4. So if you look at Calvert-Lewin's next 4, he's up against Chelsea, who have been very good defensively. Leicester are going to have, they have Ndidi back now. They have Pereira back, so by then they'll probably be fully fit. And if Everton lose any more starters in their team, they just don't look like they can create anything. Like, literally the one chance that they did actually create, Calvert-Lewin scored. But it's just they can't create much because they're so bad defensively. Arsenal, maybe they pick it up by then, but could potentially do something there. And then Sheffield United, he could probably do something there. But if you look at the Southampton fixtures in return, they have Sheffield United and Fulham. Arsenal is probably a better fixture for them than most because of their press. And Man City, they have shown to give Man City problems, especially when they are at home. So I think all of those fixtures they can do quite well. So plus, nothing would make me happier than a shootout between Southampton and Man City, so that all the clean sheets get wiped out, because we might not have McCarthy by then. And we just get points from Adams and Ings and De Bruyne. That'd be nice. So this week, the lineup, the way we have it is obviously McCarthy's going to be in goal. We're playing Lamptey over Kilman because I don't think Kilman is necessarily a assured starter anymore. And plus Aston Villa, we don't want him going versus Grealish because I think Grealish can still do damage versus him. You're holding Che Adams then for a while because Ings is back. I'm holding Che Adams and I'm going to potentially get Ings in as well. I'm going to go with both. And then maybe down the line, I get rid of, like, once Callum Wilson's back, maybe I get rid of Adams and bring in Callum Wilson or something. We'll see. I don't think I have enough money to do that unless I do some different changes in that regard. But we'll check that in a bit when I get to the transfer screen. But I have enough money right now to go Calvert-Lewin straight to Ings. I don't have like 0.2 left or something. But I just want to make sure that, you know, I mean, Danny Ings looked fine. I mean, he scored a penalty, looked lively, almost had a ridiculous assist. He had like 2 touches, flicked it over the back of his head, and if Redmond had a bit more composure and put a decent shot on target, he could have potentially scored, and it would have been a crazy assist. And that's why Ings came on, scores a penalty, gets 3 bonus, or 2 bonus, or how many he got. I think he got 3 bonus. Let's take a look. See. Yeah, 3 bonus. Comes on, scores a penalty, bang. That's why Ings is so good. He legit just comes on and scores a penalty, like, which you would think, oh, he didn't do too much, but he literally just comes on, scores, and gets 9 points every game. Like, he is like the new age Jimenez. And unfortunately Jimenez is out. But like, Southampton actually score. They play exciting football. Ings takes penalties, you know. So. But yeah. So yeah, moving into the defense. So we have Lamptey over Kilman. And that's because I think that he's more for the attacking returns. And I think Villa will score versus Wolves. Ayling is better than Kilman in this case. I think they have a better chance because West Ham will probably only score 1 if Antonio's there, maybe. Chilwell, for obvious reasons, we're playing him because Everton's defense is terrible. Telles, we're not playing because he is versus Man City. And I think that United will still concede. If he gets a return, so be it. But I'd rather De Bruyne go... I'd rather United and City... Like, the best result is a United, 3-2 win. Bruno goes crazy. De Bruyne does well. And, you know, United wins. But... And then I get, clean sheet and, an assist or something from Chilwell. Same with Ayling, same with Lamptey. I just don't think, Telles defensively, I think they could definitely exploit that. He's the left back, and on the right-hand side, they have Riyad Mahrez, who's, I mean, if you saw Telles versus Bowen, what Bowen did to him, I don't want to know what Riyad Mahrez is going to do to him. So, maybe we go with a back 3. If we keep a clean sheet and he gets an assist or something, then, okay, shame on me, but don't want to take that chance. When you play against, City, United, Liverpool, these sorts of teams, you don't want to play versus them. I feel bad for the people that had Semedo and had to play him because they ended up with -2 or something because he scored an own goal and conceded 4. So not a great day at the office. Into the midfield, we have Grealish. He's obviously going to play. De Bruyne, we're obviously going to play him. Fernandes, we're obviously going to play him. He's our vice captain for now, just because it doesn't really matter. I know he's going to play. You know, I can always change that to De Bruyne or Ings or somebody like that. Maybe I captain Danny or vice captain Danny Ings because I know he's going to play. And then Salah's obviously our captain as well. Grealish maybe back in for Game Week 13. No panic this week. If you got rid of Grealish, then yeah, versus Wolves, you would think, okay, maybe they fix up and they go with a back 5. They go 3-5-2 or something to regain their defensive solidity. Because what they've been doing is they've been going 4-1-4-1, which is just not gonna work. They literally play Podence as the middle, the most lead striker, and they're trying to play a long ball into Podence, who's up against Joel Matip, who's 6 times his height or something, and they're expecting him to win a ball and shield it off him. This is not gonna work. So what they need to do is if they wanted to do something like that, they would need to play like Traore through the middle, because Traore at least can like use his mass, his size to block off bigger defenders and kind of play the hold up man, knock it off to somebody in the midfield like a Matinho, spin around them and then bolt, and then they can play it over the top because nobody's catching him. That's what I thought they were gonna do, but for some reason they played him as like some type of like fake wingback type right-sided midfielder thing. I don't know what they were doing. But yeah, I would say Grealish isn't a must own this week. I just hung on to him, so I'm gonna hang on to him this week. I got Mars in this week. I think I should hold. Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, Mars got a bonus point without even getting a return. Against Man United specifically, I think that if I think Shaw's back in training, and Tellez has been potentially injured. Or suffering from something, yeah, I would hang on to your city assets for sure. Whatever city assets you have, unless it's Phil Foden, in which case get rid of him. Because you got West Brom, Newcastle, Everton. 3 out of the next 4 are probably pretty straightforward, and Chelsea away is a bit tough, and then you have this good run as well. Like just hang on to him. And then, yeah, moving into the forward line, Che Adams, we brought him in. Didn't do anything this week. Bit unfortunate. But with Danny Ings back, they looked a lot better. And hopefully I can get some returns from there. Bamford, again, he's not going anywhere anytime soon. He's a frustrating player to own, but he's doing well. And then Calvert-Lewin. I've had him in since Game Week 2. I brought him in for a -8 in Game Week 2, and he's gotten me all of these redonkulous amount of points. And yeah, that was probably one of my best things that I've done. Probably one of the worst things I've done is not had the Spurs assets in for as long as what I potentially could have. So you win some, you lose some. But he could potentially make way for Ings, like I mentioned, and then we could bring him back in later on in the season. I don't think he's a season keeper. I think that with Digne out, that he's going to get a lot less like crazy holes. So like if we look at some of them, like, so he has the 17. He looks like he's just going to be like the 6-pointer. But with Everton conceding so many goals, he loses bonus points based off that. Like, he scored in a 1-1 draw and didn't get any bonus points. It's going to be a bit frustrating, I think, to own him. And we're still not even sure who's on penalties. So we will still have to see in that regard. Because, yeah, we just don't know. I mean, they've only taken 1 penalty and Richarlison was on it, so we'll have to see. And until then, we won't know. But yeah, I like Ings going into this week, and he could be the transfer. So let's actually take a look at that. So basically, this week we could go for a -4. We would bring in Ings. He potentially could go down in price tonight, which is why I'm holding off. Calvert-Lewin, we've had him in since 7 million, so we got 0.5 million on him. So we make good value off him. This will leave us 0.2. So, and then that following week, what I was looking to do was potentially just hold my transfer, because Southampton are versus Arsenal, so could potentially be a clean sheet there. Don't need to do any other transfers, which is Captain Fernandez away to Sheffield United. Be perfectly comfortable in that game. And then go into game week 14, where I have United versus Leeds. And then potentially I make a goalkeeper transfer. I go McCarthy to just somebody basically to go for the next 2 weeks, because then I would wildcard in the goalkeeper that I would want. So Matt Ryan could potentially be one, because he has West Ham away, Sheffield United at home. Another one that could be good is, I don't think I have the funds to do it, but Martinez would be good. Meslier is also not bad either, but he does have United as one of them, but could get some save points there. If Kelleher, I think that's how you pronounce it, the Liverpool goalkeeper, is available at that time, and Allison we know is out for a lot longer of a period, then he could be an option as well. So, and then we could potentially do, if we do make that goalkeeper transfer, just be to another 4-5, let's say, and then we could look to do some other things with our team. Let's say for the game week 15 where it's Leicester away, Chelsea are also up against Arsenal away. We could get rid of Chilwell and Telles and bring in Alexander-Arnold and a 4-5 like Target or somebody like that, and then we can have potentially triple Liverpool for that game if we had Kelleher in goal as an example. We'll have to see. That's further down the road. But Ings is the one I'm potentially looking at for the time being as a Calvert-Lewin, swap out. And I'm not sure if the site is broken. For some reason, there's a massive gap up here. Okay, sure. Why not? Maybe the site's updating or something. Yeah, not sure why I did that, but okay. But yeah, this is the team that we currently have. And I'm pretty comfortable going into this game week with this team. I think that United and City is a bit, it's going to make the average points a lot lower this week. Because just it naturally is. Same with Everton versus Chelsea. I think that the thing that could really determine this week is, do Spurs score a lot versus Crystal Palace? Because if they do, that could be big red arrows this week if you don't have Spurs. So I don't have any Spurs. I don't plan on getting any Spurs. I wasn't going to get in Spurs, so they play Crystal Palace. Wasn't going to have them in for that. They play Liverpool. I'm going to back Liverpool on that. Leicester, by then, will probably have the defense a little bit more shored up. So I'm not going to be looking at them for that. And then they play Wolves, who potentially could be a bit tougher. At Molineux is a bit tough. And then I would bring them back in for when they play Fulham. They then play Leeds at home. They then play Aston Villa. These sorts of teams, Sheffield United, these sorts of teams they can definitely punish, for sure. It's going to be interesting to watch Spurs versus Leeds, though, because literally it's all guns blazing versus park the bus football. Like, who's going to win? Like, to fund Salah, I'd have to do Vardy to Bamford and either Mahrez, Jota, KDB, or Bruno for Salah. I think personally, you could, if you can do Vardy to Bamford and then Jota to Salah, that probably makes some sense. It depends. So this is how you have to look at it, right? So Liverpool have two really good fixtures on paper in the next 4. They have Fulham away and they have West Brom at home. Those are the two. Which one is Salah probably more potent to be potent in? Well, let's look at his history. At home, hat-trick. At home, assist. At home, blank. At home, goal. Didn't play. At home, goal, assist. Away, nothing. Away, brace. Away, goal. Away, goal. Away, assist. So, just as good. Like, Salah's usually more at home, less away. But if you look at the home, so he's got 3 goals, 1 assist. 4 goals, 1 assist. 5 goals, 2 assists. And then away from home, he's got 1 assist, 1 and 1, 2 and 1, 4 and 1, 4 and 1. So 4 and 1 and 5 and 2. So slightly in favor of home. So you probably think the West Brom is probably the more potent fixture. But it's just a matter of, do you think Jota is going to get benched in the next 4 games again? It's possible. It depends on how they utilize him. It'll just mean more moves to get Kane back in for Gameweek 16, but I'm a bit flustered over whether to do it. Should be Bruno instead or definite. No, Bruno's the type of player to win the derby for United. And then he has Sheffield United away from home. That's like the dream fixture. Like one of the worst defenses, excuse me, one of the worst defenses in the league. I think they're like 4th worst. And Bruno's away from home. It's like the perfect fixture. And I think that they won't have any fans because Sheffield is in the same area as like Manchester. And they didn't have, I don't think they have fans yet either. But who knows, it might change by then. But again, it's, you know, pretty insane. I think Bruno's definitely, like, if there's anyone you're going to get rid of, it would be, you would get rid of KDB for this week. Keep Mahrez. And then just do like a hokey cokey, so go back and forward. Probably just panicking because of game week points lost this week. Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's knee-jerk reaction that people, it's just natural. Like, you see Son, Kane, Salah score, you're just like, oh no, it's like everything's going bad. I mean, that's what I thought too. I'm like, oh yeah, my green arrow's looking nice, looking good. Vardy scores at the end of the game. I'm like, okay, cool, that's frustrating, but whatever. Then Son and Kane get goal assists from each other. I'm like, oh, that's bad. And then Salah gets goal assists. I'm like, it's fine. Perfectly fine. This is okay. It's fine. And, yeah. It's a bit of a rank killer, to be honest. But, you know, who knows? You know, we could all be bringing in Salah this week versus Fulham, and he might not even play. We don't know. The likelihood is he will. But, who knows? Have I locked in any transfers yet? Yeah, I transferred in Salah for Sterling. I knew I was doing that last week. Because I know that Liverpool have nothing to play for in the Champions League. The likelihood is that Salah and Mane won't play. And they might play... and he may rise tonight. Yeah, and it was pretty close on, like, what's name. But, like, Liverpool isn't, like, going to play Salah and Mane for very many minutes. And they're probably like whispering in Klopp's ear, like, look, we got Fulham away. Their defense is bad. We're going for the golden boot. We want to score. So can you rest us in the Champions League so that we can be nice and rested, ready to go, so that we can pepper them and boost our goal difference? Because United's lost the title on goal difference, so you have to kind of take that and note it down. But yeah, I think if you have Mane as well, I know some people in my mini leagues have him. I have Mane, so again, Salah's done good away from home. He's done good at home. I think he's gonna be like uber captain this week. Like if Salah scores a hat-trick this week, and you don't have him, your rank is going to drop, like drop through the floor, because there are so many people in the top 10k, top 100k that are looking at this fixture, and they're looking at the West Brom fixture and like, Salah has the captain's armband on him. There is no changing it. That is going to happen. That's like the people are looking at the Sheffield United fixture. Like, United is a very popular team globally. When they do well, their assets rise very quickly. Like, Bruno went from like 10.5 to 10.8, I think, in like a week, right? Everyone's looking at the Sheffield United fixture, and they're thinking, points galore, you know? And there are some players that have those types of fixtures that are just like that. Now, Salah could go to Fulham and do nothing. It's possible. He could have a stinker. Who knows? Kane could score a hat-trick versus Crystal Palace. It's possible. I bet there's probably going to be a lot of people captaining Kane because he scored versus, got a goal assist versus Arsenal. You know, I think those are probably going to be like the two real captains this week. It's like Liverpool mid versus Kane / Son. Like, that's going to be it. If one bangs points and the other one blanks, the difference, there's going to be a lot of roughs and a lot of smooths this week. You're going to see teams with, like, let's say you know, people who have people Captain Salah, he gets brace assist. So you're looking at like 20 plus points or something like so. Brace assist is what 10, 13. You're looking at what 18. Am I doing the math right? So 5, 10, 13. 2 points for playing 60 minutes is 15. 3 bonuses 18, so 36. So you're missing out on 18 points, and let's say you Captain Kane, you get just 2. So you're missing out on 16 points. But it could also be the other way around. That's the problem. And I kind of hate it when it's 2 like really, really obvious captains, and those are the only 2 good ones. One of them goes mad, and the other one does nothing. Because at the end of the day, if you have them both in your team, but you captain the wrong one, you get a red arrow. If you don't have either of them and they both do well, you get a red arrow. Like, it's a bit tough, unfortunately. But yeah, we just have to hope that our other more differential assets do well. So yeah, KDB could rise again. You could sell him for that. But I would say Vardy's shown me personally enough that he's not getting as involved. He could go to Brighton and do well, but we don't know that. We know that Salah's a known quantity. We know that KDB is a known quantity. We know that Fernandes is a known quantity. And I just think that you know, Vardy's just one of these players. He's so hit or miss. Like, how many I don't even know, but how many penalties has Vardy scored this season? It's like a lot, right? And he's just somebody who's like, he can score with just one touch. Like, literally touch out from under his feet. He's in on goal. Shoot, goal. KDB to Salah could make sense. Bamford has some decent games coming up as well. Yeah. You know, it's just, like, I initially had the plan to, so I'll show you what one of my other plans were. So, I don't know why it's got that big gap. My internet's messed up tonight. But basically, I had a situation where I didn't have Salah on my team, and what I was going to do was keep swapping in KDB in and out, like, for the for like the good fixture, because they actually rotate quite well, like to swap them in and out. So like Fulham plays Liverpool, Manchester City has the derby. Then the following week, Manchester City play West Brom, Salah has Spurs. So I could easily, if I wanted to, take Salah out and bring Sterling back in for when they play West Brom. No problem. Could easily do that. Could also save a transfer. But we'll have to see. But then Salah has Crystal Palace, which is a pretty good fixture. City have a tougher away fixture versus Southampton, who's actually in 5th. So a bit iffy there, but you want Liverpool back in. And then you definitely want Liverpool back in because they play West Brom. But City also have a decent fixture versus Newcastle. So it is a bit tricky to kind of manage. But again, I don't know why my... Oh, there we go. Looks like everything's actually everything's updated fully. So I'm gonna actually change some of these. So our Gameweek rank is, they finally did the auto subs, 1.52 million, and my overall rank is at it's 1.47, so a little bit more. Overall rank 1.47. There we go. Everything's all sorted. But yeah, I just think that like Salah's going to be highly captained this week, if not the most captained. Bruno's going to be the most captained almost certainly next week. The following week it's going to be probably Salah in 14. Who does Spurs play? Spurs play Leicester. I mean, Fernandes versus Leeds could be good. He might be an option. But most likely Liverpool again, and then definitely Liverpool because they play West Brom. So down from 600k to 850k. Hey, that's well, at least you're in the top million. I am currently outside of it at the moment, but we'll keep on trucking along. Again, if you come through the Christmas period and you're still like in the 1.4 million, 1.5 million, it gets a bit tough to get inside because then the gap starts getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And the teams are more solidified as to who they're playing. The percentage ownership's going to stay roughly the same. And you're going to have to be more and more non-template, as it were. Actually, I'm going to take a look at how template my current team is. So if you go on livefpl.net, you could check your rank as the game week is going on. I assume a lot of people know about that. But it says your template rating. So currently my template rating is 59%. So it says moderately differential. So my team is 59% similar to the rest of the other top 10k teams, and that's going to go down even more. So basically, if my differentials start hitting, I'm going to gain on them. So if Che Adams gets a brace next week, if Lamptey does well, if Ayling does well, if Salah captain comes through and not many people have him, if Danny Ings does well when we bring him in, and Calvert-Lewin blanks, like if Calvert-Lewin blanks and we bring in Ings for like a brace or something like that, that could be just absolutely monumental, just massive, In the top 10k, 1 in 3 teams have Bamford, but again, he still could do quite well. Grealish is fairly highly owned, but a lot of people in the top 10k are getting rid of him and aren't bringing him back this week to fund moves for Salah. Some people are trying to get to this midfield here, the Salah, Fernandes, De Bruyne midfield. So we will have to see. Another thing that I also didn't think of at the time was actually going to explore this idea. So let's say I do bring in Ings, because I think that could be penciled in. But I'm going to wait to see if he actually goes down, which would be nice. Save us 0.1. Is a City defender for the West Brom and Newcastle fixtures. That would be nice to have. Versus Sheffield United, Telles could do well, but he could be injured and could be rotated out. But again, City defenders are like, that's the problem, is they're also could be rotated as well. Cancelo 5-5, DS 5-6. So it would have to be one of those. Stones at 4-8 could be interesting, but again, we'd have to figure out who they're playing. But yeah, that's for another day to figure out. But yeah, this is the current team as it stands now. We will be doing a deadline stream, or deadline-ish stream. It's going to be on Thursday. So yeah, make sure to look out for that. Let's go over to the big cam. Thank you all for watching, those who came to join us live on Twitch. Also, thank you those who are watching this on YouTube as well. So the VOD for this always goes up after the live stream. So if you want to catch those, make sure to check the pinned comments down below for the YouTube videos. That will tell you when we go live over on Twitch. At some point, we will be moving the streams to YouTube. And I think we'll probably get more people there, but for the time being, it is on Twitch. We want to grow all the platforms, and if you want to get any updates, make sure to follow us over on Twitter. So check all the links down in the description below. And yeah, hope you all had a good game week. It was a very high average. It's going to be a very bad week to have a bad game week, but hopefully next week's a little bit better. Manchester Derby on. Big week for United as well. So a bit nervous about that, but we will see. So I'm going to go put this VOD up on YouTube now, and then I'm going to go sleep so I can go play some Final Fantasy 14 tomorrow for the new patch for the first time in 10 months. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But we'll maintain a watchful eye on any proceedings in the Champions League and any injuries that may occur during that, or players that may be out, and make sure to check, like I said, our Twitter for any updates, for any content that may go out. And lastly, we're going to be doing the Tactics Talk. Like I said, I'm going to be putting it on Friday. That's going to be for the Arsenal and Spurs game that took place over the weekend. Thanks for watching, and until the next one, take care.